on a more severe, kind of sensitive topic, you know.
So this is the part of the podcast where we have to issue a warning to the general viewing audience that the following content matter may be offensive and mildly, what would you say, taboo? A little bit of taboo.
Yeah.
Might offend some people, might rub some people the wrong way, might get us demonetized from YouTube.
No, I doubt that.
And I don't really care.
It's more just being aware.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, you know, we have amongst us, you know, and when I say amongst us, you know, some in the mariachi world, I'm not going to say any names, anything like that, but, you know, we do have, you know, registered sex offenders.
Yes. So kind of a broad category for this topic, and this is why we wanted to have our guest too. There's a former police officer and a mariachi,
Mm-hmm.
right? Has some, you know, from that perspective, you know, some real life, you know, opinions and some stuff.
Yeah, I wanted to ask him a couple of questions how that works. You know, you become a, you know, if you
a felon,
or
a
you
drug
have to
abuser,
register, yeah, any of that
kind
stuff.
of crime, right? Because there's some people that have priors that still occasionally find themselves in
Mm-hmm.
conferences, that find themselves not being taken away from where there's kids.
Yeah.
Right? And that bothers me a little bit. It's like, okay, whatever you do in your personal life, no one's here to judge anybody, but we have a judicial system, and that hands out judgment, and people have priors.
Yeah.
And you still see some people with those priors, and the one you're talking about, it's a particularly heinous offense. Now, you know, there's two things, me personally, that I will get a little more on the reactive side that won't be so good.
Definitely.
That's some dudes
More for you when you have kids.
when you have kids. See, I don't have children yet. I can only imagine how that must feel. For me, it's if someone's beating on a woman, I might involve myself.
Yeah.
I might hurt the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And when someone's fucking with kids, right, messing with kids, harassing children, in that case, sexually harassing, physically,
you know, physically, sexually, whatever. You know, when
there's
it
like
comes
a
to kids,
zero
you know,
tolerance there.
No.
Zero.
And unfortunately, you know, we're surrounded by it, so we need to be aware of.
There was an incident recently in Phoenix, wasn't there?
Yes.
So shit.
Yeah, and it will come to light. It will come to light. And it sucks because unfortunately I kind of knew him, like, as far as a mariachi compañero, you know, but
Played gigs.
Played gigs.
I played gigs with this guy too.
And it's just like, man, like, how do you explain that?
Well,
what do you do? You know,
some people I've heard say it's kind of a sickness. It's a mental illness for somebody to be getting into it with youngsters. And it's happened a lot. I remember growing up, there were cases of that kind of shit happening, and not just in mariachi, but like the dance world,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have cases of where someone who's 19, 18 years old, right on the cusp, fucking around with a 17, 16-year-old, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you can go to jail for that.
Yeah.
Like, don't you know? Like, wait till she turns 18, man.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, what's 2 years? You can't wait 2 years?
What's the saying that this new generation is saying? Catch a case.
Catch a case?
Catch a
Yeah,
case.
you're going to catch a case. And that happens.
But yeah.
It's bad. So as a director, you're responsible for high schoolers, for kids that are under 18, while you're doing gigs.
You have the parents' trust.
You have parents' trust.
You have your own students' trust. You know,
Your family.
Your family. I mean, it's a whole wide thing. All eyes are on you.
Mm-hmm.
All eyes are on you,
Especially if you're a director.
Listen,
So how do you feel about this? You know, as a
it turns
parent,
my stomach. Honestly, it turns my stomach. It upsets me. I wish, you know, our guest speaker would have been here because I would have liked to ask, hey, you know, if you're whether you're registered with, you know, a registered sex offender with the actual act or the intent, because they have them classified different ways.
Like if you're stalking,
Like how do you like? I mean, are you still supposed? You know, do you have a probation officer on you? Do you have to, you know, no matter where you move, I know you have to register yourself on that stuff, but still, it's like, where does the line come where you shouldn't? If you're a child sex, you know, registered sex offender,
right?
where's the line? Like, who tells you, dude, you're going to these mariachi conferences and you're surrounded by kids?
You're not supposed to be there, really.
You're not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So where's the line? What do you do?
Is it even something that people talk about?
No. I know it's not.
Is it something where when you see someone at a conference and, you have like the, hey, what the fuck is that person doing here?
Yeah.
And then just do the people that run conferences, which they have their hands pretty well full, to be fair.
The board members.
They have a lot to deal with, from finance to everything down to what color the fucking flowers are going to be, right? Mm-hmm. So they got a lot to deal with. But it's like, are they aware that there are certain musicians out there that have demons, that have been judged by the state and federal government, and have a record, have priors?
Yeah.
And
of course we know it's everywhere. It's in a job, whatever. It's
true.
This is a mariachi podcast, so we're talking specifically about the mariachi.
The culture. You do have folks that are like students, 17, 16, 15, all the way to like 19, 20, 21. Even young students that are in college, they're still very impressionable, green sometimes, naive. You've seen a lot of youngsters get really, and as we sit here and drink beer, involved into like the drug and alcohol aspect of being a musician. It's not a mariachi thing. It's a musician thing. It's always been a musician thing, all the way back to Elvis, to Dizzy Gillespie, to Ray Charles, to Johnny Cash. They were all drug addicts. They were all addicted to that life, right? And you could argue that, yeah, if you're on the road, 12 months a year, playing 10 shows a week, what the fuck do you think is going to happen? You got to get up. You got to get on stage. Oh, you're sick? Well, hey, man, you got back pain from being on bass all the time. Your arms
hurt. Do a couple lines,
right? This will help you, right? It'll be a tool to help you get through your performance. And that's how you get people to get addicted. They get to that party life.
Easily.
Like that, right?
And you're done.
It's gone. So I can understand that a little more. I can be a little more understanding of a person who's a recovering addict as opposed to someone who's done that, right?
Yeah, there's just no excuse for that at all. Like, it's not right. Obviously, one, you're a grown ass man, even women. How many? What about in the school systems?
That's happening.
You hear about women teachers and their students.
Yeah.
And then the thing is that this is where I kind of get really upset, because then the tables turn. Like,
there's a double standard.
Yes, because then you see all the comments where there's a guy, oh man, I wish my teacher looked like that when I was in school.
I mean, I've had friends that, no kidding, in the past, banged a couple of teachers back in high school because they were what do you think about a high school teacher if she's single? She's 23, 24?
Well, now they're coming in, now they're younger and younger and younger.
And you're 18? That's a high school senior apart.
Yeah. And,
I can see how if you're an 17 or 18-year-old student and you hook up with a 23-year-old, that's not crazy.
Yeah.
But it's unethical and it's immoral. And it's like, if you're a teacher, no matter what the law says, you're not supposed to hook up with your students. And college professors do it. I've seen college professors that, thank God they had tenure for them, because they knocked up their TA. Because their TA is 25, 26, and she's surrounded by this PhD professor who's making $100,000 a year, is smart, charming, can take care of himself. And what's fucked up is that he already had a family and kids usually by the time he gets to her.
Yeah.
And shit happens. It's not ethical. It's not right. There's a reason why they have conflict of interest laws in certain professions, because you're not supposed to get that in the mix, right?
No.
So, what would you like to see happen as a person who's in charge of a youth group, a director, has kids, you have a lot of dogs in this race. Me, I look at that and I just find that disgusting. I'm like, don't be touching no kids and let me see you do it, But what would you like to actually see positive change, if anything, for these kind of folks?
Man.
So a lot of them flee, a lot of them come back. Time people forget.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's back, but hey, it was 5 years ago.
I do strongly believe everyone can change.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like I'm just gonna, you know, curse you the rest of your life. But if yours, if you know, I look at it, and the way I've seen it, even you know, if anybody's out there unsure of somebody and you might have heard something, all you gotta do is really type in their name under Google, picture felony will show up what it is. So like for me, the people that I know, you know, they have a you know a pretty bad one. So it's like you ain't gonna change.
Like you look up the history of what their felony charge or their felony conviction was, and you're like, damn.
And you're like, no, there was no excuse for that. So I know you ain't gonna change. You're just a disgusting ass person.
Yeah.
You know, a man or woman doesn't matter. You know. So yeah, what I would like to see is people, you know, stop kind of, you know, turning the other cheek.
Right, stop.
Be more aware.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, my generation, the mariachis that played with me, you know, that are my age, we all have kids now. Yeah. We all have kids.
Yeah.
And especially, how many of our mariachi friends have their kids in mariachi as well?
Almost all of them.
All of them.
They're all doing like
so they're all surrounded, and it's sad because it's like, did people like, are people are either are aware, not aware, or they don't care.
They're complicit. Maybe somebody's compañero was there. Maybe it's political. There's some political stuff too. It's like, oh, if I want to be able to play gigs with this person, I gotta shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Not bring this shit up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
just so I can either make the you know the pay, you know.
Make the teacher roster.
I don't know.
Something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But you know, I think just we need, like for myself, like you know, we need to be really aware of our surroundings. Don't even put ourselves in that kind of situation.
So that's a good point. So being a person who has ethics and morals, not getting yourself into a scenario where you could be even accused of doing something like that.
Yeah.
Like that's been a big thing for me personally. It's like I'm married and I don't go out like for no reason at all.
Yeah. I
don't go to a bar and have a drink for no reason at all. No, I'm not particularly good looking, so I don't think I would fare well anyways. I don't think I'm gonna just pick up on the spot, right? Maybe if I get a little skinnier, shit will be easier. Like back in the day, when I was really skinny, it was really easy to pick up. You know? But right now, it's kind of difficult. But even then, I don't put myself in a situation where I'm constantly going to happy hours.
Mm-hmm.
And if I go, I ask my wife, like, "Hey, do you want to go with me?
Yeah.
Let's go hang out."
And that's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it. I'm not putting myself in them situations where some 22-year-old's coming around like, hey, I've seen you around, and you start talking, and you want some help with this? Yeah, okay, cool, yeah, well, you know, let me think about it. And next thing you know, what's happening? It's your fucking life is over.
Yeah.
Right? It's not worth it.
No.
You know, so that's one. And I think what I heard you say second is for people who are oblivious to situations like this and people who are complicit, to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
To not just shove it under the rug. You see someone at a conference and you say, hey, you know, I don't want to make a big deal about this. This is the dude's history. Just keep an eye on him, right? Just keep, as long as he's here, keep an eye. That could be one way. Maybe having people that run security to these events say, you know what? You know you're not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
You know, just that little bit of uncomfortable shame and confrontation from an authority person who's in charge of an event.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because honestly, not for nothing, people who do stuff like that tend to be a little cowardice. They tend to be a little like, oh, they don't want confrontation.
Yeah.
Right? You know, that could be one way to fix it. I don't know. That's a tough subject.
Yeah.
I think we just alienated everybody. No one's listening to us talk right now. Everyone's like, turn that shit off. Yeah. I don't want to hear la 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 la. I don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a parent or something out there, like even my own mom. She thought back in the day that mariachi was like the most positive thing in the world. She had no idea. She's just like, oh, mariachi is our culture and it's our history and it's music and it's a great thing for my son to do, to not get in gangs and not get into violence. She knew what she had on her hands.
Mm-hmm.
I was a fucking troublemaker as a kid, and it's like, well, I'm either going to go do that or I'm going to be playing gigs every weekend. Like, which one do you think she wanted?
Yeah.
She wanted me at the restaurant every weekend, not hanging out with a bunch of Pueblo kids going down 36th Avenue where people got shotguns in their fucking trunk, hanging out, because that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
And so I stopped doing that so much. And it's like, hey, I got this great future here, man. I mean, I'm with the Chongos, I play gigs, I don't have to work, I don't have to make burgers. I'm definitely not going to get involved with what you guys are fucking doing, right? And they didn't want me either. If I had even said to my friends, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that, they'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? You're on TV, man, you're playing mariachi, you're a Pueblo, you doing all this shit, you want to come do this with us? Mm. They would have kicked my ass. They would have totally just like set me straight because of that. But the most alcohol and stuff that I ever got involved with was with mariachi people. We would go play gigs, and then we would go with the older guys, and we would go to parties, and we would get completely fucking shit-faced. Mm-hmm. And it was almost every weekend we did that. And my mom had no clue. And then she found out, and she was you've seen my mom.
Yeah.
So you can see how pissed off she was.
Old school comes out, and you're dead.
Oh, man. I'm just sitting there, and I'm like this on the couch, and I'm still taller than her. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't mean to do it. And that almost fucked up my whole senior year when we got busted.
Yeah.
It was really bad. And it wasn't even really with Chongos. It was just with other mariachis. Other dudes that are playing at restaurants that we looked up to. You motherfuckers all graduated. Mm-hmm. So we're all just hanging out like, man, I want to be like this guy. I want to be like that guy. I kind of want to sing like Miguel. I don't want to look like him, though. But I'd like to sing like him. He's pretty cool. And so when I was in my early 20s and then the kids started doing the same, I always made sure to at least try to set somewhat of an example. I'd be like, what are you, 18, 19? All right. What are you in? Still in high school? No. I would never hang out or drink with kids that were still in high school. Like I made that a point. It's like, if I have my drink, fine, this is mine, right? I'm not giving you alcohol. And I think I've said that to a couple of kids back in the day, and they're like, hey, can I have? I'm like, what are you, 17?
Yeah.
I'm not giving you alcohol. Go.
Yeah, I've been in those kind of situations already, and it's like...
19, 20, out of high school, you're in college, all right, let's see what you got, right? You're not going to survive, all right? Yeah. You're not going to survive me, man. But that's tough, dude.
Yeah.
That's really tough.
It is. I'm obviously I have, my youth group, and it's not really a matter of trust from the parents. I mean, I'm glad that, we hold our practices. The parents are there. Even when I hold my private lessons, now I just moved in my new house and I have my music room. There's no door, no curtain, no nothing on and the entrance of my music room. The parents sit out in the living room. I give my lesson, and that's it. I mean, you have to play it safe because, again, you don't want to be put in that situation where you're like, that's it.
Yeah.
Because all it takes now is like, hey, he did this, and you're scorned.
Like,
that's it. You're done. You're fucked.
Nothing.
You're scarred for life.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember teaching at a conference one year, and then like all of a sudden, girls would be like, hey, can we take a picture with you? And I'm just like, I took one picture, and then I thought, I'm not taking any more pictures with anybody. This is creepy as fuck. Because then I thought about it, and I was like, that's not another like college juvenil mariachi.
Yeah.
That's some chick that's like in a high school group. And I realized that, and I thought, oh shit. I was like, no more of that.
Yeah.
That's over.
Because an image, anybody could just put something out on you, and that's it. Your image is ruined.
Yeah, there really ain't shit you can do about it. You're just going to sit there and like, all right, I guess my life is over.
Be aware. Just be aware, everybody. If you're not sure about something and something doesn't feel right, if you've heard something, look them up. That's all it takes.
Google,
and that's it.
It pops right up. You can I once did like registered felons in your neighborhood, Google, whatever, and like... I was like, holy shit, there's so many people with convictions, man. I was like, god damn. Yeah. Armed robbery. I was like, holy shit. Yeah. Okay, I'm not moving into that neighborhood.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah, it's sad, but, I think it was a topic, yes, sensitive, yes.
We should revisit this, especially with our friend, when he's able to come back and do this. And I can only imagine that some people are going to find this very intolerable. They don't want to hear it. I think some people, they listen to this and say, you know what, that's a great point. It's good advice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're talking about it. They're just being real.
Yeah.
You know.
It has to be said.
It has to be said.
It has to be said because we can't
Especially
be stupid.
What happened in the last month or so? And there's an incident in Phoenix, and it's like, okay, well...
And it unfortunately, it has affected a lot of students. It's not just, one or two, but even the ones that weren't directly in that fire, it's a ripple effect because now it's like, how are the parents or how are the kids supposed to trust the next person?
Yeah.
And not only that, it gives Mariachi a bad image.
It really does. Yeah, it really does. That's sad, man. Well, hope they catch that motherfucker.
Yeah, no, that's all we can say about that.
Send him to the booty house, man. That's what they're going to do.